Hello. I can see the mic thing moving, so you should be able to hear me. Hello, Demon Dreamer. I think you may be the only one here right now, but that's fine. I think everything's working. So we should be going out on Twitch, YouTube, Owncast, and PeerTube, which seems to be the case. Hi. Thank you. I like this shirt too. I've been leaning a little bit more gothy, getting back to my goth roots lately, so we're feeling it. Oh, yeah. It's a whole thing. We're making puppets again. I'm very low key today. I don't know. I was like hyper last week, and because last Wednesday there were just so many things going wrong. This week is fine. Everything's good. So I'm more chill. We're just relaxing with some highly caffeinated beverage. We're just gonna spin our wheels here for a bit, see if folks show up before we get started. But oh, hello, Jimmy. I left the door open again, so of course we've got early Jimmy. Jimmy's been a bit of a handful this morning, haven't you, sir? Yeah, come here. There we go. Early Jimmy, early in the stream. We got our Jimmy out of the way. Yeah, you gonna be in the way? I'm going to have to do some gluing today, so the door's going to be closed, and you're going to stand outside and yell your head off, aren't you? Right? Yep. That's Jimmy. That's what Jimmy does. Oh. It's, yeah, he's daddy's boy. Look, we're winning the internet. Cat love. All right, you. Yep. Go sit. Whew. Puppets, huh? I wouldn't announce what we're doing yet until we get more people, because chances are there will be some more. Although who knows? Could be a slow day. Slow days are good. All this gets archived, various places. So, YouTube and PeerTube mostly is where the VODs will live. They live on Twitch for 2 weeks, and then Twitch deletes them because it's Twitch. Amazon cannot afford the storage space to just keep your VODs, you know. It costs money. Jeff Bezos, you know, he only got a couple bucks. I know Bezos isn't involved anymore. So, puppets, everything that we're doing. Look, it's a Greebly hand. Most of a Greebly hand. We're going to be finishing these off and then moving on. So it is a Greebly based build that we are doing today. This whole week, in fact. It is a custom Greebly. See, oh, the PeerTube chat should be working now. It hasn't been working since I installed it, and then I gave up trying and turned it over to Frankie, and Frankie fixed it. So the PeerTube chat should be working. We'll see. I could see what it should look like. There's actual chat there now. So now I have 3 separate chat windows to monitor during the stream, which is, let me tell you, as somebody who's not a natural multitasker, it can get a bit much, but that's okay. So if I miss something in chat, forgive me. Be patient. I'm new at this. I've only been streaming for years. I can see some people starting to filter in now, so maybe we'll take off, because I got a lot to do. I really want to finish this. If I can finish this early, I'd like to, but I don't think I will. However, oh, hello, Jimmy. Jimmy is staying. Jimmy is now laying on the floor near the wheels of my chair, which is an unsafe place. Don't look at me like that. I'm getting sass. Okay, what are we doing? Those of you who are on the Discord, I'm going to take the lozenge now so I won't lose my voice. Those of you who are on the Discord, such as Demon Dreamer, may know, if you've been following the build channel, that I'm doing a build this week for an existing client who wants a custom Greebly, and the custom Greebly is themed like a bee. So it's the Gree-bee. Hey, wordplay. And so here's where we are right now. We got this is the body that I just finished sewing. If you're on the Discord, then you know that this is much more complicated than it looks. This was all hand sewn, individual pieces. Yes, you could get fur that is striped. For various reasons, I did not. I just put this all together by hand, so you can see on the inside here. Okay, on the machine, not necessarily by hand, but I had to like take the pattern, cut it into strips, number all the pieces, exactly where they go, because the dart's there and everything. And so, yeah, there was a lot went into this, but it turned out pretty good. And the thing I like about it that you wouldn't get with like pre-dyed striped, the texture changes in the fur. Exactly, they're different lengths, right? So I had short pile yellow fleece, but long pile black fleece. I did trim the black down a little bit because it was just a little too long, but you get this neat, like the stripes are different things, right? And I like that. You wouldn't get that on the pre-dye, so this just looks neat. I like it. So this is the skin. So the first thing to do, I mean, I've got all the bits cut out for I'm planning wings. As a matter of fact, I am. Where did I put them? There. I lost my wings. Oh no. They're here somewhere. Did I put them up on the shelf? I probably put them up on the shelf. You know, safe, away from being able to lose them. Maybe I didn't. Yes, there are going to be wings. I have printed them out in TPU filament. Let me switch to the top cam here. Just so you don't need to look at my torso flailing around. Where did I put the wings? There are wings. I could print that more if I lose these. It's okay. That's the nice thing about 3D printing. But yes, I did print out. I designed and printed out. It's very simple, almost like fairy wings on a Halloween costume style type things. And they're just going to go on the back. But then, oh, here they are. I found it. Here we go. Here are the wings. So I printed them out in TPU filament, which A is semi-transparent, and B, since it's flexible and rubbery, these will kind of flop around. So these are just going to get attached onto the back, just like that. And so when it moves, it'll kind of flop around and move, and I think it'll look pretty good. And the way I'm going to attach them is going to be real simple. I made this hole here. I'm just going to take a dull joint, cover it in fabric, and then attach it onto the body with a dull joint. And these will actually be, that way you'll be able to pivot them around. So there we go. There are the wings. I think they look pretty darn good. Yeah. This took a long time. These took like 10 hours to print because they're big. They're very thin too. I wanted to make sure that we didn't add a lot of weight, obviously. So, yeah, I like them. They're good. I could have gone fancier. I could have put like the lines and stuff in them, but yeah, no, I think these will be fine. It's supposed to look kind of cartoony anyway, so. So what we are doing, I got to finish the hands. Now here's the interesting thing about the hands. It's going to have 6 arms. It's a bee, right? So it's going to have 6 arms, and we were kind of discussing, going back and forth. It's like, okay, this client knows very well the problem that puppet builders have. Not really a problem, but the aversion the puppet builders have with building hands. It's always a pain. And 6 of them would be a lot on one puppet. That's quite a lot. So what we're going to do is the 2 upper arms, right? So the 2 main ones, those are going to be full on, with the wire in the fingers to make them posable and all that kind of good stuff. But the two pair below that are just going to be kind of dummy arms. They're not going to have any articulation. They're just going to be stuffed. And then I'm just going to stitch them to the main arm. So they'll just kind of follow. I think like of the in the 80s, they had like the street performers who would do the whole like line of people dancing, but it was just them in the middle, and then the rest were all on like these big poles, like somebody did like Michael Jackson, the Jackson 5. It's going to be kind of like that concept, right? Where you're just sort of daisy chaining the dummy arms to the main arms. And I'm just going to stitch them. I'm just going to sort of like stitch them on and like with a fishing line to connect them. I'm going to stitch them, I think. I'm just going to I'm going to see what it looks like, first of all. I could use fishing line. I don't really want to see the line, so I think I might just take like the thumb of the one below, right? So let's say these are stacked up. Take this thumb of the one below and just put a few tacking stitches onto the lower finger of the one above, and then also stitch it onto the arm rod, right? So it'll just kind of do this, right? It'll just kind of follow it like that. We'll see. I haven't done it yet, so I'm just gonna kind of play around with it. Since I'm gonna be stitching it, it's easy to just take them off if they don't work out. So the first thing I have to do is put the wire in these hands. So that's fun. But I can also show, I don't remember, I think I've shown some of these on stream before, but the hand plates that I use now. So to make life a bit easier on me for making hands, the problem with hands, of course, is that they're fiddly and they take time. It's not that they're difficult. They're not difficult, but they just take time, and time is money, right? So in order to make things a little bit more streamlined and quick, for me, because I do have to build quickly, I made these, and these are, let me grab, isn't being used currently. I make these little hand plates. Let me go to the close-up cam here. Here we are. So these are just 3D printed, and I designed these myself, and they were really, really basic. It's just a little plate, and then some kind of tubes. They're like little sockets. And the big one in the middle here, that's where the arm rod goes. And then all these other ones are where each end of the wire goes for each finger. I just line these up with the fingers. And as you can see, I just hot glue that in. And so now we're going to hot glue in the wires. And this makes it a little bit faster. Not a lot, but enough that it's just less of a pain. There's less guesswork. It's also easier to measure out the wire. It simplifies the whole process. So let's go back to the top cam. All the buttons are working. I did fix the problem I had last time where I accidentally knocked this offline. I moved the button to an entirely different screen, so it's unlikely to happen. The button to go on and offline, I actually have to go to a different page of the buttons to see that. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to get just some wire. This is 20 gauge or 18 gauge, something like that. 19 gauge, split the difference. 19 gauge wire. It's always better if you twist the wire, but it's not necessary. As long as you do like a double thickness, then that'll be good enough. So that's what we're gonna do. So I got to get some pliers, and let's get 2 pair just to make sure that we have enough to. And so the nice thing about using these hand plates is measuring becomes a lot simpler. I know it's kind of upside down, but live with it. I don't have to do it upside down. Yes, I do. We'll do it this way. How's that? Split the difference. Oh, the other thing is, on the top of the head, it's going to have antennas. And I thought like sort of little short stubby ones are kind of fun. So I've made these, and I think these are going to look good. They're actually made out of silicone drinking straws. Now the thing about silicone is it doesn't take glue. So you gotta I did use adhesive, but I actually stitched the fleece up. But these are going to sort of be springy and bouncy. Yeah, you could use springs and stuff, but this ended up being a good kind of quick and easy solution, and I think will look good, and there will be some motion as the head moves around. They're going to kind of be bouncy, and they'll hold up too. They'll be stiff. And I think to mount them, I'm just going to like glue a dull joint up in the side of them there. Mount them on the head that way. That's the antennas. So anyway, for the fingers, all they do, because these go into the socket, I don't know, maybe like a 1/4 inch. I just measure it from the beginning of the socket to the end of the finger. Just gonna go like that. That's where we want our bend. Bend it there. bend it in half, and then cut it on that line. A little bit shorter is better than too long. You don't want, what you don't want is the wire poking out the end of the finger. So now that I've got this little bend of wire, then we just socket that. The first ones I made only had one socket, and then I realized, well, if I make two, I can just do that. Let's go to the close-up cam, you can see a little bit more detail about what's actually going on here. So there we go. Wow, that's a good shot. Right, so I just got two sockets, and then I socket that home, and then I'm just gonna hot glue those in. Bingo, done. So that's my solution for getting hands done a little bit better, a little bit quicker. Does it make it easier to replace individual finger wires if they break? So no, not really, because we're going to end up gluing this whole thing together anyway with contact cement. So these are all permanent. If they break, they break. You'd have to take it apart, and you'd probably just need to make new hand inserts if they do break, but the chances are they're not going to break. Because once these, so that's why we do the double thickness of wire. That's why it's also better, if you want to take the time, you can take this and you can twist this together, and that'll make it even stronger. I'm not going to bother with that. Generally speaking, that's not necessary, unless it's under heavy use. But once this gets kind of, mummified in contact cement, remember the, barge or whatever you're using, is basically like rubber. It's very rubbery. So you're going to be like encasing this in a rubber coating basically. And that protects it pretty well. I've never had a finger wire break in all the time I've been doing this. So, I know it's theoretically possible. And if you're bending the fingers quite a lot, you're more likely to do it. And if you bend the fingers a lot over time, it will eventually happen. Just because, wire can only bend so often before it will break, even double thickness. So it's one of those calculated situations. So I could just make templates for all this, and I probably should at some point, but where I glue this on the hand kind of changes depending on how the hand comes out. So I find it's better to just kind of eyeball it at the time. Yep, there we go. So that is that. Can you make a 3D printed template for? Oh, you mean for the wires? Yeah, probably. But again, like I said, that will depend on where on the foam the plate ends up being glued. Now I could glue the whole plate together first and then place it on the hand. That's probably maybe a smarter way of doing it, Kevin, but this is the way I've done it. I like gluing the plate to the hand first just because it kind of holds it in place and stuff isn't moving around. But yeah, you absolutely could do a 3D printed template. All right, and for the thumb, down to that. Music's a bit loud on my end, actually. There we go. Have you decided? Yeah, so I consulted with the client, and they definitely want Muppety eyes. So we will not be doing the geodesic dome idea, at least not on this build. They really liked, they actually liked the eyes that I did last week on stream, for the pink Greebly, which is still here actually. Which that client ended up purchasing, by the way, so it's going out when this goes out, which is fun. So I'm going to do a very similar kind of lidded hemisphere Muppety style eye. So there we go, that's it. And then you see, that's really not a lot of struggle, comparatively to how you usually go about it. So I think that's all right. And all I do at this stage, take a little dab of hot glue, put it on the ends of the wires, just a little, not a lot. And this is just like hold them in place. This isn't like structural. This is just going to keep them there until we can get the barge going. Just a little dab of hot glue on the ends. After we get these wires in, then it's time to pull out the Danger Honey. And voila. Sometimes I'll put a little dab of hot glue on the tip of the finger, like where the wire is at the end, as well, just to kind of hold this down. But that's usually not necessary. There we go. So we just want to let that glue set up, and we'll do the other one. See? Much less struggle than hands normally are. I'm really happy with the whole hand plate thing. There we go. Maybe in the future you have a chance to try out the other eye forms. Yeah. But safety eyes look really nice, so I understand the purposes. Oh yeah, well that's the thing. Like, I think the character is just supposed to be kind of a friendly, you know, Muppety style character, and the insectoid geodesic domes would probably look a little bit too cold and alien, right? So totally understand. But yeah, I think that doing the geodesic dome style segmented eye thing would be kind of cool in the future for another build. But this is more kind of a mascot-y, friendly kind of character, so that's the goal. Here's the thumb. I don't know if you can hear the children screaming outside. We got the daycare out there. Their cadre of screaming children, as always. Not sure what the mic picks up. I can hear it, that's for sure. And yes, this is another reason why having the Greebly style hands with the 2 fingers and thumb is preferable. You don't have to, you got 1 finger less to have to work with. It's almost like I planned it that way. Here to there. And then we get the glue and we glue it in place. I do this first just to make sure that they're all the right length, and then we glue them in place. Wire can be funny sometimes and not do what you expect it to do. You see, hot glue does have its uses. It's just that you have to find out what they are. Generally speaking, you don't want to do anything structural with hot glue. This is like I said, this is just holding it in place until we get the real glue. wouldn't want to rely on hot glue. Here we go. Now, like I said, sometimes I'll also tack down the tip here, but I don't think that'll be necessary in this case. They're all lining up relatively close enough. So we gotta wait for that glue to dry, and then we're going to get the danger honey out. So in the meantime, we're gonna go back here, and I'm gonna have another sip of coffee. Oh, see, much more relaxed stream this week than last week. Ah. I'm also almost out of coffee. So the only question left is, if I do go get more coffee, is the be right back screen going to work again? I was messing around with it earlier, and it's showing and hiding the text is getting messed up by the transition. That's what I believe is happening, but we will see. Jimmy is still in the room, and he's not to be kicked out of the room when I get the glue out, so we're gonna have some complaints, aren't we, young man? He's ignoring me. That's okay. He's a cat, you know. All right, coffee's done. We gotta get to the glue. No dillying and dallying, or dallying. Cat's hive mask. Yeah, that'd be good. Jimmy, put on this respirator. I'm sure that would be easy. All right, James Tiberius Cat. Yes, you. Come on. Out you go. Out. 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 I'm kicking you out. It's about to get dangerous. Excuse me while I close the door. Make sure that the draft excluder is in front of it to halt the fumes from going out to the rest of the apartment and ruining my wife's day. Hey, Joe! It's definitely been a not enough coffee kind of day. Oh, I got smart, and I made a whole jug full of iced coffee yesterday, and I still have it. And I've drank, like, this is cup 3. Or possibly 4. I don't remember so far today. So I'm plenty caffeinated. I'm good to go. But we got to get the mask, the gloves, and the danger honey. Oh, and also turn the fan on. The fan is currently off. There we go. Oh, yes. So far, everything's going smoothly. What's going to go wrong? Place your bets. Place your bets. Step right up. Cats love having things put on their faces. Yeah, they sure do. Only if it's edible. Fluckman, hello, how you doing? Nice to see you. How's the weather there? It's getting the 90s here. Well, as we're in Canada, we don't have Fahrenheit, but it's pretty warm. We're at 20-ish degrees. See, right now we're at 16 degrees Celsius, going up to 21. So I don't know what that is. It's probably 80-ish, 70-ish, 80-ish. It's getting warm. It's getting warm in here for sure. It was quite warm yesterday. Uncomfortably so. I gotta get the hair dryer out. Slug fans bringing the Fozzie Bear jokes into chat. On brand. Good for you. Oh, you get when you cross a chicken with a duck, you get a chicken that lays down. Ba-doom. Okay, mask is going on, so I should probably turn the mic on the mask on. And hopefully there's enough battery, and I always forget to charge the mic on the mask. But we'll see. There we go. The stylish and lovely, completely comfortable. Actually, I gotta loosen it a bit. It's quite uncomfortable, to be honest. Okay. We're gonna start with the hands. I usually end with the hands because it's a lot of manipulating and I get, you know, glue all over my gloves, and I'd rather do the rest of the puppet first. So let's do that. I got all the bits made here, so we'll start, we'll start with the body. Start with the body. I usually do the darts first. Throw up the Danger Honey. Glowing music. Figured I fixed the PeerTube chat and now nobody's here on PeerTube. Oh well. There will be. I totally forgot to post about this on the Mastodon, so. Bad Fediverse etiquette. One thing I don't know on PeerTube is if you follow my PeerTube channel, I don't know if the live videos actually get auto-announced. I should check that. Seems like important. I'm gonna check that. I don't think they do. Oh no, Patrick, no, we're getting the Fozzie Bear jokes in chat. What do you get when you cross an octopus with your grandmother? I don't know, but it only happens when I eat cheese before bed and have a nightmare. I don't know, Patrick, what do you get? I don't know either, but sure can play bingo. Waka, waka, as the experts say. Also, hello, Patrick and Slugfan. Thank you for joining us in the Puppet Pit. I'm on brand. That's what we call the puppet section of the podcast, you see. I'm keeping consistent branding. It's important. Indies keep. I came in the perfect timing for Danger Honey. Yes, you did. We're hitting the Danger Honey early this episode. All right. Now we're going to help the Danger Honey with the hairdryer here. Joe, that was an excellent answer to that joke. Joe's answer to what happens when you cross an octopus with your grandmother: a visit from the ethics community and immediate withdrawal of your funding. Very good. And yes, Patrick, I guess you haven't been able to join us live yet, have you? This is all happening live. Well, I guess for you it's on about a 30-second delay. But for me, it's happening live.
All right, closing the darts. Little dart closing music, Maestro. Da-da-da-da. We're just going. We're just making the puppets. It's just so fast. I would like to finish this tomorrow, but there's going to be so much to the hands, the arms, that I don't know if I will. I've given myself the whole week for it, so should be fine. The Benny Hill theme is complicated. It's copyrighted, yeah. Yakety Sax. That song is called Yakety Sax. Definitely is copyrighted. Patrick, you're usually at work at this time as I'm in California, but I took the day off to take care of some family business. Well, thank you for joining us. Indyskip, yeah, but I call it Yakety Sax. Everyone will be confused. Even the younger generations know the Benny Hill theme. Good point. And next we will get into the history of the Mana Mana song. It's a bit darker than you think. Look it up. I won't get into it. All right, now we'll join the two halves. I know I'm kind of motoring on through this. If anybody has questions, obviously, happy to answer. Like I said, these live streams are just me doing my daily work, so. I mean, we could even point out the yellow brick road goes nowhere. It was just the Wizard of Oz set to make it look pretty and give importance to the yellow brick road. Yes, exactly. It was a campaign promise. Like he said, he promised the people a yellow brick road, and then he had to build it once he got elected as the head wizard. Didn't go anywhere, but All right, there we go. One Greebly body. And now for the head. She's got fur all over it. Uh-huh. Ever heard of that Oz theme park in North Carolina? No. The abandoned one. Oh, that sounds good. See, as soon as you say it's abandoned theme parks are cool and creepy. I like them. If I remember correctly, the Oz stories themselves are actually in the public domain now, right? Or at least some of them are. It's creepy with the fact it's overgrown in most parts. Nice, yeah. All right, here we go. You've been in the public domain for a while now. Yeah, I thought so. All right, and now the mouth plates. Nice, flexible mouth plates. The 1939 movie, however, yeah, well, that's the thing, right? People don't quite understand what public domain means. It just means the source material you can do something with. It doesn't mean that any individual production of that thing, right? So, like, you know, there's lots of jazz songs that are, you know, more than 100 years old that are in the public domain, but it doesn't mean that, like, Louis Armstrong's recording of that song is in the public domain. It just means that you could make a recording of that song and not have to pay royalties and not get sued. That's what that means. People get it a bit wrong. Can't touch the ruby slippers, the ruby red slippers of Judy Garland still, yeah. I heard good things about that Disney movie, The Return to Oz, because it was much closer to the books than the MGM film was. And the books themselves are very creepy. Like, they're in that old school, like, Brothers Grimm style creepiness, right? And plenty of old-fashioned racism. FYI, content warning for the Wizard of Oz books. About a decade ago, Marvel released comic book adaptations of the Oz books, which were very faithful to the original stories. Interesting. Yeah, I think the origin of the Tin Woodsman is that he just kept having accidents with his axe and cutting parts of his body off and then replacing them with tin till eventually he just was all tin. Here's your fun factoid. Kevin puts on one of his goth shirts and look what happens. All right, this will start. The top is always a bit of a struggle, so we're going to start on the top. It's probably not going to be great for camera, but I got to get in here real close to do this. So forgive me if I don't play to the camera too much here. Looking good. Here we are. And one greedy head. Hello. Okay, so now we do the hands. Always the best part. So the first thing I'm gonna do is get the barge and put it all in, and I want to put it like underneath, so we want to glue down the wires to the hand itself. That's what I slop glue all over it. You don't want to slop glue all over it. Nice thin even coat. Don't get a lot of, don't glop it up. Just nice thin even brushings. You just want to get on the underside into there. You want to glue the wires down. And just coat everything. And the bit that's going to get sandwiched, and then we're going to let this air dry while we brush the other one. This needs to be nice and strong. All right, we're going to set that aside, let it dry. I'm going to work on the other one. I don't know if you can hear the siren outside. I live in a city. It's just a feature. Follow-up for the podcast listeners, FYI, who may be emotionally invested in my ongoing computer hardware woes. Everything is fine. My newish the PC that I built last weekend is holding fine, working good. I think we're past the danger point. Which is a relief. All right, so now we've got that going. We got to set these aside. Hit these with a hairdryer and sandwich time. Okay, so the first thing, I want to make sure all these wires are lined up properly. They pretty much are, but let's just buy ourselves a little insurance here. Yeah, that's good. And then we slap them together. Give them a good pinch. All the way around. And now I'm going to put glue along the edges and let it set to dry while we work on the other one. Be very, very careful here. You can really overdo the glue on the edges. Little tiny bit. It doesn't really matter if you get it all. This is just to make it easier to go into the hand, the skin. You can also just like trim off the edges here. This is just a little bit more smooth. Well, you can just carve this down. I like this because it kind of makes the fingers more dense, compacts them, and protects the wire a bit more. All right, now that dries. Now we get this. Where's the dryness here? I'm gonna hit that a bit. All right, make sure those wires are all where they should be. Good. Sandwich it up. Nice hand sandwich. Pinch it all together and then glue along the edges. We're actually making pretty decent progress. What do you know? It's almost like I know what I'm doing. Fooled you. All right. That's that. That, in theory, should be it for the Danger Honey. Well, let's close her up. Fewer fumes, the better. And I'll take the first one. And just start pinching those edges, rolling them together. Oh, a little too much glue on here. See, this is what happens when you get too much glue. It won't hold. Okay? So you gotta dry that off real good. All right. You old now? Yeah, more or less. Good enough. Doesn't have to be perfect. Perfect is the enemy of good. All right, I'm going to take the mask off now, just because there's no active barge around, so it should be fine. Just so I can talk a little clearer.
Oh, that's unpleasant. Turn the mic off here. Oh, I got big red marks on my face now. So if you're wondering why we do it along the edges like this, I can kind of show. Here's the hand, right? Just the two halves sandwiched together, and we see we've got these like big square angles. But if you pinch the two sides together, you get this nice rounded, right? And like I said, this actually will like compact and condense the foam, and so the wire inside here is a little bit more protected. So it's a good thing to do. That's why I prefer doing this instead of just like carving off the edges, because this, like, you retain the same amounts of material, it's just in a smaller space. So it's denser, which I like. Here's a little section. Didn't get enough glue on. It'll be fun. It'll be fun. Not gonna worry about it. This is what happens when you rush. Always miss something. All right, that will do good enough. for the moment. I gotta fix that little chunk right there, but that's fine. I want to get rid of the gloves. I don't want to. So now the question is, what now? Kevin needs to think about what we do now. Because the next step really is making the skin for the head and the hands. Oh, look at those lines, good heavens. It's like Bane getting off work. Which means I gotta show patterns on stream. I'm not really worried about that anymore. But I don't want to have to give the lecture every time. It's tedious, particularly everybody here is a regular anyway. You've heard me give the lecture 1,000 times. Don't steal patterns. That's the lesson. For any reason ever, period. There's no excuse. So yeah, okay, we're gonna go and get on and do the patterns, but first I need more coffee. So I'm gonna try this. The text is probably gonna mess up. If I hit the button again, it should fix it. We're gonna try the Be Right Back screen while I get some more coffee. We'll see what happens. All right, here we go. You ready? Cross your fingers. Ha! I knew it would mess up, but we're okay. Like it just, like I said, I'm pretty sure it's the transition, the timing on the transition messes up when the text. I guess I'll fix it. I'll fix it. I never have enough time between streams to fix stuff. That's the problem. Oh, I'm too busy having fun. It does happen occasionally. Some fun happens. I'm gonna have some more coffee, and then we're gonna get on with the skin. We'll do the head first, I think. And of course, the fun part of this is it's one of the few uses I have because it's a bee. Oh, those of you who are joining us late, I don't know if you found or heard what we're doing. So it is agreeably, but it is themed. This is for a client. It is themed like a bee. So it's the agree bee. Here's the body, skin, fur. Okay, so it's a agree bee. And because it's a agree bee, the head and arms, of which there are 6, arms, not heads, is going to be black fleece. I don't get much call to use this black fleece. I'm not even sure why I ended up getting so much of it. But I have had, and this is the nice stuff too. This is the Weird Kid fleece. And I'm not sure why I got like a whole yard of it, but I did. So now we get a chance to use it. I think it was like last possibly, or the Halloween before last, I made bat smalls, and they needed black fleece. So in fact, if I look at the cutout bits here, I can probably piece together what did I make? What was this? Let's see. What on earth? Oh, right. That's that. See that? That's a wing. That's a bat wing. See, it's like forensics or backward engineering. What this was used for? Yep, this was made for. In fact, I think I may actually have one of the wing prototypes here that I did for the bat. So I just took this, covered it in fleece. This is just 3D printed. Neat stuff, huh? Okay. I need a pattern. And I need to be able to draw on black fabric, which means it's time to get out the silver pen, silver Sharpie. And the thing about the silver Sharpie is, I've lost my silver Sharpie, which is not good. I just get a new one, I guess. It's probably here on the desk somewhere. These are actually like paint, so they gotta dry, and I always get it all over my fingers, always. So look forward to that. I'm also gonna do this on the machine instead of hand stitching it, just because since it's black and it's the weird kid stuff, you are not gonna see the seam. It's just gonna disappear. So we're gonna fold this in half. And I'm not going to pin it until I get the pattern traced onto here. But this is half right here. So grab my pattern. Go. And make sure that we're not overshooting. Make sure it all lines up. We got all lined up. Little shriek back for you. If you know who shriek back are, then you're cool. Extra puppet points. Okay. Tracing the pattern with our nice, fresh, that's not great, Sharpie. Yes, you could use Taylor's chalk for this. I find it's just too thick. You tend to lose some definition as something this scale. Here we go. There's our pattern. Yeah, you can see that. And then I always just, because it's me and I've done this a whole lot, I just eyeball my seam allowance. If you want to be precise, use a seam gauge. But I know what my tolerances are, so. I'm going to stitch this line and this line. I am going to hand stitch this to the body after I get the head assembled, just because of wanting to mount the antennas, which you can't see because it's black on black. The antennas are going to be a bit of a tricky thing to mount, so I'm going to do that after the fact. So there we go. Now I'm going to pin it and cut it out and stitch it up. Be very careful with the pins, because they are pointy. I tend to sort of pin the corners first, just to sort of anchor everything in place, and then I'll go and fill in the rest. Who was it? Somebody on the Discord. Puppets Q Puppets, I think. Posted a thing that they were making where they had pinned the pattern together, and it was the most elegant, beautiful, mathematically precise pinning job I had ever seen. It was unbelievable. I, as you can tell, am not that precise. And it shows. I mean, what I tend to do is I tend to come in and, like, after I've done the corners, I'll just do like halfway and then halfway and then halfway, right? So, that's good enough. I'll put one here at the corner just to make sure that doesn't slide around. And now we cut it out. And no, Jamie, before you ask if you're watching the VOD, I have not got my scissors sharpened yet. I really need to. Okay, gotta stand up for this. So, just trimming along seam allowance here. And this is the one we have to be precise because this is inside the mouth. So you don't want this pulling and being weird. There we go. So now we gotta get the machine. And stitch it up. Always put your pattern back because I always lose them. And if anything to lose, you don't want to lose your patterns. Oh, excuse me for a second. Let's go check something on my phone. Okay, good. Oh, lozenge time. Okay. What thread is in the machine currently? Oh, it looks like it's black thread. How convenient. Oh, I'm knocking stuff over and dropping stuff, as always. We do the close-up cam for this? Didn't we establish that the close-up cam's quite good for the sewing machine? Let's see. Let's find it. Yeah, well, that's not so good, but here we go. Seems all right. You can see what I'm doing there. You see how messy my sewing job is? Okay. Let's put this on the machine. Get this in there nice and tidy. Sink the needle. Pull the pin out. Drop the foot. Oh, I didn't get the pedal out. Oh, I hope this doesn't rub against something and make it go. Okay, good. I've had that happen before. Okay. Love the Weird Kid fleece. It's so nice. One side. Now I am going in a bit of a weird. You should always have like the the bulk of your fabric go this way, but I am going this way just because I want to sew along this line and start at this end, just in case it shifts around. This is, of course, the tip of the bottom jaw, and I want to make sure that this lines up. Just a little insurance for the future. And this is fine. I do this all the time. There we go. That looks fast. So now what it is, actually we go at the top, yeah, is the insert mouth lining, as it were. And as this is black, I'm not going to do a black insert because you just lose it. So I am going to do, oh, first I got to trim off this seam allowance here. This didn't get quite to the end, so as I drop my headphones, I'm gonna stitch that up by hand a little bit before we move on. I tend to be a bit careful with the machine just because it's easy for it to go wrong quickly. So this didn't get I know it's hard to see. It's to get quite to the end there, so I'm just gonna toss a couple hand stitches in there and make sure that's closed properly. It's a very short thread. I hope it lasts. Only need like 2 or 3 stitches, so should be fine. This is really easy to see, huh? The black thread on a black fabric. On a low quality camera. That's far away. There we go. That'll do. Okay. One sec. I just want to check something on this stream here. Hopefully this won't go out live. Audio. No, we're good. Good, we're good. Yes, we're good. Okay, good. Just wanted to make sure. Okay. Mouth insert. Yes. Wow, my brain just froze for a second. You saw it. You saw it just happening right now. Coffee. Clearly, I need more coffee. So, I'm going to do red for the inner lining of the mouth. And I've come to embrace the ways of felt for a mouth lining over Ultra Suede. I know Ultra Suede looks really nice, but since there's very little structure in it, it is very, very wrinkly, and it tends to like want to mess up as you're gluing the mouth to the skull. Whereas felt, since it's stiffer, will actually sort of lay flat a bit easier. So for a lot of this, I'm now preferring felt over Ultra Suede, just for the sake of time, because I don't have time to mess around and make another one if this one messes up. So if I have the time, I do prefer Ultra Suede, just because it looks nice. This still looks fine though. There's a nice texture to it. I gotta find my pattern. As he's looking, there it is. Well-used pattern. And yes, we just want a regular. You know what this means? We're heading up to hand sewing time, and since it's very quiet today, and we're at an hour and a half, maybe we'll cut it short before we actually go to the hand sewing portion, which is just me sitting around hand sewing. Gives me a chance to listen to podcasts. Okay, and then we go crosshairs. Always mark your center lines. You always want to know where center is. Even if you don't think you're going to need it, you're going to need it. So cut this out, and then I use clips for this usually. Make sure that ink didn't bleed through. No. Okay. That will be bad. Alrighty then. So now I'm just going to clip this in place and hand sew it. And you know what? We are at an hour and a half here. So I think we're probably just going to call it short. Well, not that short. We've been going for an hour and a half. That's pretty good. So yeah, as always, thank you everybody for joining me. Thank you for watching the VOD, if that is in fact what you're doing. More of the same next week. I plan to do this every Wednesday for the foreseeable future now that a lot of the stuff is over. I'm over the hump, as it were, with commissions. This is still a commission, but I'm just going to make sure that, you know, if I do more commissions, that I get permission to do them on stream. That is the thing. That's why I couldn't stream for a while when I was working on the SciShow Kids stuff, because that was like, you know, secret project kind of thing. So it wouldn't have been, they wouldn't have wanted me to stream building that stuff. So sometimes it's just the way it works out. Anyway, thank you everybody. As always, I'm going to hit the button and you're going to see the wrong text, and then I'm going to hit the button again and you'll see the right text. So watch out for that. Everybody, thank you so much. Next week, join the Discord, operationpuppet.com, where all the links are, etc. and so on. And we'll be back probably this weekend. I'm probably going to be doing some Frankie Play streams, so look forward to that. And I'm just trying to remember all the promotion stuff. Who even knows? Look, I still got marks on my face from where the mask was. It's a lot. Thank you, Odecast. Thank you, Fozzie on Odecast. I see you. Next week, we do this every week, so hopefully we'll be back next week, and this will all be archived on the PeerTube server. It's the PeerTube. It's Puppet.zone. Odecast is OperationPuppet.live. Anyway, I'm gonna actually go now. Hit the button. Okay. Wrong text. Here we go.